I am not in poverty. I'm well nourished. I have family members that are still alive and are coping well. I'm not being physically, mentally, or emotionally abused by my family, peers, or inflicting any of those actions on myself. I'm surrounded by loving, healthy, and caring individuals with mutual respect both ways. I'm in decent shape and health. I guess you can say I'm lucky. No, more so, I am privileged. We live in an interesting time, don't we? A thriving pandemic on one side, a recession brewing on the other, climate change biting us all on the ass, just as it should. The world seemingly on the brink of destruction. Yet we still find slivers of humanity complaining about being captive indoors, getting their rights to socialize taken, or how they're sitting and stuck at home being bored. Meanwhile, people around us and all across the world are dropping like flies day in and day out. It seems so hypocritical. It is hypocritical. It's as if we almost completely lost the ability to see how privileged we all are. Most of us sitting in the comforts of our own home, still having plenty of food and water and health, all the basic necessities for survival. In fact, I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video right now, you're in somewhat good hands. So, how do we become so blind to our own selfishness and entitlements? Well, the answer is simple. Greater technological accessibility. The result of our cultures being reshaped through the rapid increase in accessibility to do and get more than plenty we need through the digital realm. Because let's think about it. In an era where we have more food production, more medical technological development and research, more outlets and resources to education, just more of everything. And yet, more people are consistently ill, more are dying from curable diseases and illnesses we've claimed to have invested more in throughout the years, and more members of the younger generation are left uneducated. So, what happens when we have more of everything and easier access to it? We become more selective while also more indecisive when it comes to making decisions. Our standards and expectations of things go up. We adopt the grass is greener on the other side mentality, always looking for the better option. We have a stronger fear of missing out or not exacerbating all options that are out there. We start to believe we're more entitled to everything just because there is more out there. In theory, there's nothing actually wrong with any of these things at a face value. There's nothing wrong with striving for the best, looking for that needle in the haystack. There's no shame in taking time or not knowing what to do or which product you should purchase right now. Raising your standards and aligning your expectations to those standards can lead you to a happier and better life. And what's life if not to explore and discover more things all time around, rather than settling for less? All good and no harm done. Until we have too much of it. One of the common cases we see this type of self and societal annihilation is within the online dating pool. We are bombarded with many different faces and profiles left, right, and center at hyper speed. Then, we might end up going on several dates with a plethora of selections who end up leaving us disappointed or in the dust or catfished. After cycles of ambiguity, we end up almost unconsciously or even consciously creating a narrative, cherry-picking, and over-idealizing our potential desired partner. Making sure they check off certain points and hit certain marks as we cheers to another evening of wine and dine. While we consolidate or scour the internet, skimming articles on whether who we're dating is toxic or a narcissist, and how we should settle for no one under any means that do not meet our expectations because we deserve the absolute best. Compromise? What's that? Pair that along with viewing Instagram relationship goals and couples on YouTube, and then we sit back and wonder why we've been dealt with a bad hand of an inability to feel loved or finding that love that we've always dreamed of. Pause, rewind, play again. Repeating the cycles of information overdose and constant accessibility to the online world over to all aspects of our daily lives. Whether that's getting our new Xbox shipped to us in 2 days, booking our weekly massage therapist after our relationship therapist session, or scrolling through political satire on our way to work. So, how does all this circle back to the pandemic? Well, what happens when our abilities to live bigger, better, and brighter lives come to a halt? We are forced to revert back to our primal selves, but not without a fight, of course. All of our future plans to backpack around the world, travel with our long-distance lover, finally quit our old job for a new one, join a hot yoga class, and pursue a PhD in biochemistry, everything gets taken away from us. All of a sudden, we cannot plan, schedule, or unfold our lives exactly the way we wanted to in our constructed timelines. We cannot score the best travel deals while simultaneously planning the most brag-worthy wedding. All the things people would have never dreamed of being so accessible back in the Spanish flu days. So naturally, because we were so used to being able to do and accomplish so many things, we complain and sulk in our temporary misery of how our own extravagant plans and goals are ruined, while not even giving a thought about in conjunction to so many people fighting daily just to stay alive. Essential and frontline workers keeping the body counts down, and innocent civilians grasping onto their dear lives as they grasp for another breath. Well, all we get to do now is stay at home and stay bored. Oh, woe is me. In the midst of our lives before the pandemic, for the majority, we forgot what it felt like to have our basic survival instincts, needs, desires, and our lives being put in jeopardy right in front of our very own eyes. We forgot just how privileged we all really were, and still are to some degree. As a personal opinion, one of the positive outcomes of this pandemic is how much people can truly become humbled by their surroundings and themselves as the days go by. Once we realize how much easier life was prior, it gives us the opportunity to appreciate the finite things we too often take for granted. It also gives us the chance to return to the most important things in our lives and revisit what it's like to be empathetic, caring, and simply to be human. To take the time to reflect on ourselves and how we can better ourselves as humanity will continue to embrace and face whatever challenges and opportunities the future calls for us.